Ladies and gentlemen, Garry Moore.
Thank you. Out the window. Hey, everybody. Welcome home. Nice to see you on To Tell the Truth. I have personally never been to the South American country of Ecuador, but I am told that delightful as it is, poverty is rampant, and the kids from the very poor families have a very difficult time indeed. There's some fascinating things to learn about it, and perhaps some way that we can help. And we'll find out about that as soon as we meet our panel here on To Tell the Truth. Bill Cullen.
Peggy Cass. Host of Beat the Clock, Gene Wood. And Kitty Carlisle.
We have amongst the best-known, best-traveled panel I know of anywhere. Has anybody here ever been to Ecuador?
I have.
You have? I might have known. Ever been to Quito?
I have been to Ecuador.
Okay. You ever been to Quito?
I have certainly been to Quito. And back.
All right, then I guess these people over here are in for, or who will be over there, are going to be in for trouble from you. Let us now meet a man who works with kids in Ecuador.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is John Halligan.
Number two.
My name is John Halligan.
Number three.
My name is John Halligan.
Well, two of those gentlemen are fibbing to you, and one of them is telling the truth. Here is the impressive story. Listen to this. It says, I, John Halligan, am a Roman Catholic priest. My ministry is comprised of 6,000 boys who scuffle for a living in and around Quito, Ecuador. It's appalling but true that from the tender age of 4 or 5, the typical Quito street boy has to spend his days begging and scrounging just to keep alive. In order to help these young kids to get out of the vicious cycle of poverty, I have established a working boys center. Here, boys from age 4 through 21 learn skilled and semi-skilled trades. Upon graduation, they are qualified to work for a growing number of American companies in Ecuador. Since many of my boys from the streets of Quito used to shine shoes in order to survive, I am known far and wide as the Shoeshine Priest. Signed, Father John Halligan. He is indeed a gentleman worth knowing about, and we will come to know more about him after these few words.
Start your day.
Now, the thing is that the three extremely dedicated-looking gentlemen across the way claim to be John Halligan, a Roman Catholic priest who has established a working boys center to train impoverished children in Quito, Ecuador. And Peggy says she's been to Quito, so we'll start the questioning with her.
Well, strangely enough, not only have I been to Quito, but I've been to the Working Boys Center, and I mean, I know that... No, I've never met him, but I saw his picture. There's no way I can question him, but boy, could I get him in 2 minutes flat if I were allowed to question.
This is about the third time in a row that you've disqualified yourself for knowing. You're going to have to stupid it up a little bit.
This is the most terrific place I have really ever been. Even I, old Scrooge, have given a couple of bucks to that place. That's how good it is.
Well, hey there. Maybe the audience will get a chance to join you.
And I advise everybody to do the same.
So we got a disqualification. That counts immediately as a wrong vote. We go to Gene Wood.
First of all, I would just like to advise you, gentlemen, I've been traveling a great deal. I haven't had time to get to church. Immediately after your spot is over, I'd like one of you to hear my confession. To that. Number two, how many boys do you have in your center?
About 300.
300 boys. Do you feed them number 3?
Yes, I feed them lunch once a day.
Lunch once a day. Number 1, where do you get the money to feed this many boys?
It comes from many various sources. I publish a newsletter. I have contributions from people all over the world. I have friends here in the United States. I have been given some funds from people in Ecuador, and they have been working to support the work that I've been doing.
Thank you, number one. Number two, were you assigned to Quito, Ecuador? How did you get there?
I was assigned after I asked to be sent to South America.
I see. You were assigned at your request.
That's right.
Why, number three, did you want to go to Quito, Ecuador?
Well, I was aware of the poverty in South America, and I wanted to work among the poor people in the countryside down there.
Number one.
I'm sorry, Gene cut you off. We're going to Kitty.
I'm so glad that somebody has a notion of the importance of our relationships with South America. I don't think that we've stressed that enough in this country. And now that I've made a soapbox speech, number three, what is the percentage of boys that you take that are sort of dropouts?
There are so many boys down there, percentage-wise. There are about 6,000 boys who shine shoes and do other menial work in Quito. I have about 300 of them that I keep in contact with, but they do float in off the street, and of course I go out looking for them, too.
I see. Number two, what do you call semi-skilled trades?
The trades of plumbing, auto mechanics, carpentry, ironwork, anything that wouldn't be the engineer's job on a construction project or the fabricator's job on a machine.
Thank you. Number one, how old are the boys when they go out to get jobs?
About 18 to 21. It varies.
And number three, what kinds of American companies take them?
Well, we have Exxon, we have baking corporations down there, mechanic corporations.
Thank you. And number two, do you also have nuns in the home who help take care of the boys?
Yes, it's not precisely a home, it's an organization, but we have some sisters from the States working with us.
Oh, don't they live there?
They live in the city, but they don't live at the center.
Oh, they don't live at the center. I see.
Thank you, Kitty. We're going to Bill Cullen, finally.
Number two, are you the founder of this particular center?
In person.
And how how did you go about it, number two? You got down there, did you know anybody?
No, I just got to know the situation by looking in the streets and seeing these kids there and decided that something should be done about it.
And number one, how long has this center been in operation?
It's been in operation about 4 years.
Number three, we've been hearing a great deal lately about the derelict boys in large metropolitans in South America, in the Orient. We never hear about derelict girls of that age. Is there a reason for that?
Yes, where I am in Quito, the girls stay home mostly with the mother, and the boys go out and try to make a living, and they bring the money back home. In fact, we make sure they bring the money back home.
Number two, where do you find your supply of instructors for this?
Various sources of instructors. We have people on the payroll, and we're Ecuadorians, and we also have some help from the Peace Corps, and we have some help from other national volunteers like the British and the Irish.
Number one, I'll ask you once again, because I've been referring it to as the center and referred to it last time as this. What is the name of your charitable organization there?
It's the Christ of the Andes Center and Mission.
In Quito, Ecuador?
In Quito, Ecuador, yes.
Thank you.
Well, it is balloting time, friends. We must decide which one of these gentlemen, and it should be difficult. I don't quite know. Is it number one, do you think? Or do you think it's number two? Or do you think it's number three? We pay $50 for each wrong vote. We pay $500 to the group in case the panel doesn't come up with any votes for him at all. And Peggy starts, please. Oh, no, Peggy got a disqualification. That's
Well,
right.
I have to put up something.
All right, put up something.
I put up what's needed.
Oh, good.
She put up a broad hint. All right, we'll give an address to go with that broad hint in just a minute. Let's go to Gene Wood, please.
I chose number two, and the reason I did was because it takes an extraordinary man to do this job. He has to be so well-rounded, and number two seemed to be quite well-informed about machinery, how it's used, and the effect thereof. So I went with him.
All right, so we're in the middle with the two. And Kitty?
I feel exactly the same as Gene did. I thought he was extremely well-versed in what was needed and the kinds of people that help, and so I voted for number two.
Pair two so far, and Bill Cullen.
I don't know, I was so involved with this story and the good that's done there and the necessity for this kind of work, I wasn't collecting facts too well. So I voted in the hope, sir, that I'm wrong.
Well, you got a three showing there, and you might be right and you might be wrong. Votes are in. Will the real Father John Halligan please stand up, sir?
don't.
Yep. Father John Halligan, we'll be back to you in a moment, sir. Let's find out who your friends are, your imposters. Number one, what is your real name, please? What do
My
you do?
name is Douglas Perney. I'm the marketing coordinator for Golf Digest and tennis magazines.
Oh, hey. Number three, would you tell us about yourself, sir?
Yes, my name is Terrence Francis Xavier McClinsky. I'm a detective in the New York City Police Department in Homicide Squad.
I could have voted for him. You know I would have voted for him.
All right. Father Halligan, our Miss Cass seems to be full of enthusiasm for your project. I trust her good instincts. Should anyone in our audience hopefully want to help you, where could they send something?
I thought you'd never get to that question. And if anybody is interested in helping some really great kids who are trying to get themselves out of a tough situation without crying too much about it, they could send their help to me at Post Office Box 50...
That's Father John Halligan.
Father John Halligan.
Yes.
Post Office Box 50225, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
50225, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I hope. Father John, thank you very much. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Well, you know, for years, people have been talking about the fact that if you talk to your plants, they will flourish.
Yeah, sure.
Our next guest knows all about this this fascinating subject. He's planted backstage. We'll dig him up in about 2 minutes. Bring him out here. All right.
How you doing?
Kara.
Real people. AT&T.
Now let's meet an authority on our friends, the plants.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Christopher Bird.
Number two.
My name is Christopher Bird.
Number three.
My name is Christopher Bird.
A marvelous name for such a gentleman. Of course, only one of them truly is Christopher Bird, and here's the story. It says, I, Christopher Bird, am a biologist and anthropologist. Together with Peter Tompkins, I have written a book that explores the latest scientific knowledge about plants and their ability to communicate. Titled The Secret Life of Plants, we discuss experiments that show that plants appear to have emotions and that they communicate with each other by the wavelengths of their fragrance and the color of their petals. There also seems to be some sort of interaction between plants and humans. In fact, there have been reports of men starting model trains by attaching a plant to the electrical mechanism. Evidence strongly suggests that plants respond to music more readily to classical than to rock. In conclusion, I maintain that the most far-reaching revolution in the 20th century, one that may save or destroy the planet, may come from the bottom of your garden. Signed, Christopher Bird. And we'll start the questioning with the temporarily transplanted Mr. Gene Wood.
Thank you, Gary. I, incidentally, am very much interested in this particular field because I do believe that I have a plant of my own that I talk to. We don't communicate too much because it's rather surly. You know, I say, good morning, plants, and it says, don't bug me. You know, that kind of thing. Number two, what kind of energy do plants transmit? Do you know?
Well, they react to sonic energy and electromagnetic energy, but the real baffling communication to and from plants is an energy that we don't really understand.
Number three, how do you interpret this energy? What do you use? What electrical device do you use to measure it?
Well, what you do is you electrode the plant, and then it's attached to a machine, like something like a lie detector.
Mm-hmm.
And when the plant gets a reaction, it kind of pours electrical energy into that, and a signal comes out written on paper, moving paper with a pen.
Thank you, number three. Number one, are plants, have you ever heard of a case where plants have been used in solving a criminal case?
Yes, the Russians, who are very big in this, did record one event where a plant was able to detect the criminal among a lineup of suspects.
Betsy,
Oh,
you
I'd
can't
like...
trust anybody anymore.
No,
You don't dare talk in front of your petunia. Bill Cullen.
Oh, no, what about me?
Kitty Carlisle. I was thinking of you as a flower, my dear.
Well,
Better way to go, Garry.
That brings me to my next question. If I'm such a nice flower, aren't they sensitive, those plants, number one? And don't they cry when you cut them?
They don't exactly cry, but they do give out reactions which can be measured electrically and with a graph on paper.
Thank you. And would you finish your story that you started for Mr. Wood about the criminal? Did the plant have a special reaction when confronted with the real one?
Yes, because the crime, it was a murder actually, had been carried out in the presence of the plant.
Right.
Plants are very sensitive to the destruction of any life, animal or vegetable.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Number three, how do they communicate with each other by the color?
Well, it's not really known how they do. I think
Well, how do you know they do then?
because there seem to have been some experiments in gardens where if you put certain plants in conjunction with other plants, they grow much faster and better than if they're planted, let's say, with certain other plants.
I see, thank you. Number two, is it true that a cornfield...
Oh, what a good question, and whatever it is. Is it true that a cornfield, you'll go to sleep tonight worrying about it, a cornfield. I know I would. However, it's time to go to Bill Cullen.
Number one, the plant in Russia testified because the murder had been committed in front of the plant in Russia. Is that what you said?
It didn't exactly testify in the normal way, but the scientists were able to demonstrate that plants did react, and this plant did react in the presence of this criminal. Together with other factors involved, this was conclusive in that particular case.
I know 4 plants in a bedroom that are going to lose a home when I get back home tonight. Those plants go out and burn themselves.
No, we just got a buzzer, Bill. We're going to lift you up and go to Peggy Cass.
I knew the canaries told every... Oh, excuse me.
Number one, I have absolutely loads of plants in my dining room, and they flourish. They really do very well, and I never talk to them. Nobody ever talks to them. They're always alone because I never eat in my dining room. I eat in the kitchen. So would you please explain that to me?
It's not that people with black thumbs are actually killers of plants.
Oh, my God, they're flourishing. What do you mean,
yes,
black
well,
thumbs?
people with green thumbs can make plants flourish better. I mean, in fact, it has been a constant factor that's been shown in experiments that people can be divided into 2 groups. The so-called black thumbs, who just take regular care of plants, and the green thumbs, who can take super care of plants. This is very interesting from the point of view of human psychology.
Yes.
In fact, Georg von Kranz of Nuremberg...
Who is that?
Georg von Kranz.
I see.
I beg your pardon, it's Tübingen. He demonstrated that the green thumb people had a very strong...
That's the guy. It's got to be.
Had a very, very strong field of negative ions around it.
Well, I myself am well known for the blight touch. Well, anyway.
I trust that you're
Listen,
at least satisfied with the answers that you got. And on the basis of what we've learned from everybody, I hope you'll mark your ballots. And you'll mark your ballots accordingly to, for number 1, or number 2, or number 3. And Gene Wood is going to get the first opinion voiced here. And
Right, Garry, and I have chosen number 1 with leaves. And the reason I have chosen him is because number 3 did not use the word sensor, which is what they attach to the plants in order to get the electrical vibration. Number 1 really seemed to know where it's at, so I went with him.
Very well, we got a 1 showing. And Kitty?
Well, number 1 was absolutely marvelous. Nevertheless, I voted for number 3.
Anytime Kitty says somebody number what was simply marvelous, I know the next word is going to be but, or nevertheless, or however. We have a 3, we have a 1. Bill Cullen.
Number 1 did a marvelous, excellent job, but I think he couldn't be the real one, or he wouldn't have told us all that. And anyway, number 3 has a beard that is flourishing, and I say that man has a green razor there. I voted for number 3.
Got a green chin. All right, we got a pair of 3s and 1, and Peggy, where are you going to go?
Well, I thought you were all darling, but number 1, I had to vote for you because, by God, you earned it.
Yeah, all right, they're posed on both ends. A couple of pairs of votes are in. Will the real Christopher Bird, sir, please stand up?
Come on, Chrissy Bird.
There! Mr. Bird, a lot of good information. Let's find out who your friends are. Number one, with a magnificent imagination, what is your real name and where are you from? What do you do?
My name is Anthony Lloyd. I teach English in Brooklyn.
You're kidding. Number two, sir, you have a kindly face. Plants should like you, I think. What is your real name? What do you do?
I'm Bob Sawyer. I'm a clergyman, pastor of a Moravian church here in Midtown Manhattan.
Well, you couldn't lie. Yes, go on. Well, thank you, Christopher Bird. It's a fascinating subject. And thank you, gentlemen, also for being with us on To Tell the Truth. Take care now.
Order now.
Panel, we've all heard an awful lot about this business of playing music for your plants and talking to your plants and taking your plants for a walk or whatever. Do any of you have any belief in that theory?
Yes, because cornfields that I was going to tell you, cornfields that have music at night as opposed to cornfields that don't flourish better.
They grow bigger.
They grow bigger.
But tougher.
Yes.
But tougher?
Maybe it gets, I don't know. I think it's a lot of nonsense if you really want to know.
I don't think so.
If you have a nice damp atmosphere and a lot of sun, your plants will do well, and it's a lot of food.
Yeah, but it's like... I had a plant one time. I talked to the thing very gently, very lovingly, and for about 3 years, a period of 3 years, and it grew about a half an inch, which isn't a great deal, but when you consider it was an artificial plant.
Very good.
Now, we'll see you around, then.
Our special characters today will receive the Paper-Mate Executive Pen and Pencil Set, featuring the Paper-Mate PowerPoint Pen. The font things to the point, so it writes at any angle. Paper-Mate. Promotional consideration provided by Best Western Motels, the nation's largest chain of 1,250 fine owner-operated motels in 900 cities throughout the United States, Canada, and Mexico. This is Phil Wendell speaking for To Tell the Truth, a Mark Goodson, Bill Cullen production.
Be with 11 Alive as we present joyous Christmas Eve specials starting at 9 p.m. with our traditional Yule log. 3 uninterrupted hours of heartwarming holiday music, simulcast on WPIX FM 102, and repeated Christmas morning at 7. Then our Christmas Eve specials continue as we celebrate the birth of Christ. Terence Cardinal Cook presides at the Midnight Mass from St. Patrick's Cathedral. Christmas Eve specials, the Yule log and Midnight Mass from St. Patrick's, starting at 9 p.m. on 11.